Hey.
everyone. Thanks so much for having us, UserGems. We are such big fans of GemE and the whole UserGems team. I'm Casey. I'm the SVP of Marketing at Sendoso. We are a gifting and direct mail platform, and I will let Austin introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Austin. I am the head of growth and customer marketing here at Sendoso. I call Salt Lake City home, and I'm so excited to chat with you today about this. I geek out over this, so I love this.
Yeah, this is really, really up our alley. We're so excited to share with you how we've been using GemE and UserGems for the past few months. And Austin is really the mastermind behind all of it. So I'm excited for him to share the inside workings of his brain with y'all. No pitching here, but did want to give you some context before we explain all of this. We help our customers to do more thoughtful marketing, which I'm really on the train for 2025, more thoughtful, intentional, memorable, timely, resonant marketing. We're not going for volume, we're going for quality and connection. And we see across our customer base, which is quite vast, that incorporating non-transactional moments of human connection where you're showing someone that you understand them and that you care about them does a lot of good things for your pipeline and generates revenue. So it actually accelerates the buying cycle. It helps multi-thread. It helps deepen relationships, and it actually decreases the cost of bringing in pipeline and revenue. So we're excited to show you how we've incorporated gifting into these workflows, and I will start to dig in here on our actual usage of UserGems. I will hand it to Austin to begin.
Yeah. So I wanted to give like a high level overview of kind of the playbook that we use with UserGems. So as you can see here on the left-hand side, we target different motions with our ICP and accounts and work on the different signals that UserGems has kind of talked to and alluded to today, and that you may already be using, UserGems for, but past champions, new hires promotions, website visits, buying groups, referrals, all of these types of things, funding, close loss, churn, those types of things. So we work on targeting them and understanding who are we going after. And then we pass it into the account enrichment motion, which GemE helps with, which is going and finding the names, the titles, the email addresses, all of the lifting or the heavy work oftentimes where the MOPS team comes in and, you need 1,000 different platforms for it. So that's the account enrichment. And then my favorite part is kind of that personalization. So the personalized emails written by GemE. I just can't wait to show you later. But the personalized emails that GemE has are pretty amazing. And then we work on that on the behalf of the BDRs and SDRs. This is a high level overview of kind of like what our playbook looks like. So I wanted to go one level deeper on the next slide, which will go to looking under the hood. So what are kind of that different motion that we walk through? So these are the tech and the platforms that we use underneath our stuff. So listed accounts, how do we think about it? We live in Salesforce and Marketo. That's our bread and butter. So that is where a lot of our lists of accounts come from. Capturing signals, UserGems is massive for that. Create and prioritizing the prospects. How should we think about all of these signals? What signals matter more to us? What signals are hard to identify or like are not as useful? So creating and prioritizing, we lean on UserGems for that as well. Then it's the massive undertaking, which is really hard, scanning the CRM. So we have great CRMs, even great CRM data, no matter how good it can be, scanning it, understanding where people are moving, if they were involved in opportunities, they were involved in one opportunity, they worked on an expansion, like understanding that type of stuff is what we lean on Salesforce and UserGems for. And then personalizing those emails. That's where UserGems and Sendoso Smart Send get to play together, which we'll show you a couple examples of in a little bit. Amazing if you think just backwards, I think it's been alluded to already today, but like one of the bigger challenges is just like CRMs have so many data points. BDRs are required to do so many different things. So how do we scan and how do we take all these data points and make them into good personalized emails and prioritize them? That comes into that personalizing emails perspective where UserGems is chef's kiss, quite honestly. It's quite incredible. And then we push it into our sending platform. So, this is your sending platform of choice. You could be using Instantly, you could be Smartly, you could use whatever we have Instantly today. So that's what we have put into that under the hood kind of motion. So that's kind of what we look at next. So the next thing I kind of want to pass it over to Casey to talk about is that this was a lot of trial and error before we came to Gemming, I would say. And I will let Casey talk to you, like, what does that pass look like?
That is very, very true. I want to mention we're a team of 7 people, and we accomplish things that a much larger team would usually be required to pull off. And we also spent quite a bit of time looking, and we look at everything that crosses our desk, but we're looking at um, what is not just a GPT wrapped around some crap. There's a lot of that out there, and we only have so many people and so much time um, to do the work that Austin just mentioned. So we really have to be thoughtful about where we're using human hours and brains. Um, so for us, after trying to build and cobble together some of this stuff ourselves, and realizing that really we can only prioritize tools that help us to use our data more efficiently to work smarter. We found that Jami is really the only thing, and this is gonna, um, it's so glowing that it's almost comical, but we really truly have not found anything that can do this. This helps us turn our CRM to a smart CRM. So there's no way that our 7-person team can spend their time trying to track and follow and dig up all of the data across all of our target accounts. GemE does that for us automatically in the background. And I haven't seen any other AI tool or vendor that can talk to our CRM this intelligently in a way that we trust implicitly. Um, and I think, there's an interesting note here. This is a tool I actually lobbied finance to pay more for. So we transitioned from something that cost less, but did a lot less for us and actually cost us time and effort and data reliability. So we paid more. GemE and UserGems paid us back in 30 days and then some. So sometimes it's worth paying more for higher quality and supercharging your team. This is one of those cases for us. And I really think that this is worth it versus trying to build something like this yourself, because it just takes too much manual trial and error and it won't be as good. The quality of the pairing of smart CRM, timely, resonant, thoughtful, personalized, and this is the only AI SDR tool we found that integrates with our AI powered Smart Send tool, which can figure out what you should gift someone to be resonant and memorable. Really makes this a huge hit for us. So quality wise, how do we know this is working? Well, it's driving hundreds of thousands of dollars of pipeline and turning into revenue for us, but also we're getting love notes back. So this is what really makes us excited. You'll see it also excited our friend Derek at UserGems in the top right corner here. He is correct. A lot of human SDRs never get responses this good, and it's hard for marketers to get responses this loving. We get a lot of these. We have a channel with our UserGems team where we just drop these in on a regular basis. But the responses we get are like, wow, I feel understood. Thank you for doing your research. This was such a good email. People are asking us, how'd you do this? How'd you do this personalization? It's so well timed. This is pretty much the best thing ever when you're working on a small marketing team and trying to make an impact. We basically have a love note Slack channel, Jane. It is a delight for all of us. Yeah, Derek, you should talk to Dummy. We know that the UserGems team put so much time and effort in many pages of prompts into the baseline for how Jemmy puts together creative responses. Then we layered in Smart Send and gifting into those personalized, timely, resonant, thoughtful, well-researched responses. And that makes this one of the most successful outbound workflows that we've got. Let's look at
Casey, before you go
yeah, go ahead.
further, I just want to go back one slide and just like double down on this, because I have been building and playing with AI tools and trying to pull stuff out of our CRM to make things smart for the better part of, I guess, 2 years at this point now, using many different tools. We've always had some level of champion tracking management tool for many years now, and trying to combine that with other historical contexts in our CRM, and combining these things and making these prompts and trying to run these things through the AI tools that are out there. And if you have endless time and endless money and you just want to just kind of spin in circles, go do it, I would say. But like the way that I would do this in the past has been, I would say in the past sure, the past year and a half has been building and trying to build things, and we were seeing success. I would say we saw success. Little did I know that there was way more success on another side of a mountain I never knew about, but like we saw success. And so the way that I like to talk to it, and that's why we have our nice little visual here, is like we built the Ford Focus or whatever. If you love Ford Focuses, I'm sorry, but like Ford Focuses, and when I started playing with Jemmy and looking at it, I was like, oh, this is the Ferrari. This is I don't have to change my own oil. I don't have to change all of these things and figure out what type of tire size I want. Like the Ferrari comes, it's perfect. And so that was just one of the big learnings. And just like, I was like, wow. I'm obviously on this webinar, so I have like true success points and just really happy about this.
We're
but
also
I was obviously
generally very jaded and cynical human beings, so this is not how we normally
exactly.
are. No one had to drive us to get on this webinar and talk about this.
No, if Casey were to say I can't use Jemmy in the future, I'd be Casey and I would have a really long conversation about what happens next at that point. But like that's how much we have evaluated so many other tools and played with them and thought about them. And man, I've spent hours and hours trying to build the right table, the right thing, to do the right whatever, to do the right prompt, and never have I gotten them as good as what Jemmy is producing, is what I'll say.
We try everything. We also talk to a lot of marketers because our target audience is go-to-market teams. And one of the things that comes up most often is that people just don't trust AI SDRs because a lot of them are crafted around the idea of just writing messaging for the humans on your team. And it's just like, oh, we write outbound emails or messages that are almost as good as or as good as a human, which the value is not there for that. That's not what we're all looking for. This is very different, and it's the only real deal of combining the data and the research and the quality and the the thoughtfulness of the message all together. And in it really for a 3-person BDR team, which Katie leads, it's an absolute game changer. You'll see we put our little Smart Send friend with Jemmy in the Ferrari because that made us happy. The important details.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so how the heck do these emails work? Tell us, Austin.
Yes. Yeah. So how do these emails look like? What are they thinking about? And so here's a couple of examples. We'll run through a couple of them. And so I'm an old person. I'm going to need to make the screen a little bigger here. Okay, there we go. And so here is an example of one of the emails that we have sent out. And so we obviously know about the champion tracking and, wherever they went to a new company. And so here's an example of that. Somebody joined new role at Acme. They joined Acme last month, which is amazing. So they recently joined a company that fit our ICP title. They likely might have budget to spend and hit goals, and they need to move fast, like every single go-to-market team in the world right now. They also have a past relationship, or there's a past Sendoso user at the company who could vouch for Sendoso. So that's kind of the second part, the purple area there. So Anthony was a champion at another company that comes through, and he was an amazing insider, and he was on the opportunity. He did great things for, he had a great success with Sendoso. So this is like what, in my opinion, my AEs, my AMs are even like dreaming of like, I want to know everybody at this company and know if they've ever used Sendoso so I can pull a buying committee together to get their expertise and understand them and hear how it's going. That is what's happening in this email, which is so cool. And like,
we've been pitched like 10 different tools that collectively can't do this together. So this is very exciting.
Like to get to one or two of these variables, like, and these sections would require you to do so much work. And like a BDR would take days to even, which I think most of us would say our CRM isn't the cleanest. Even if you had a clean CRM, it would take quite a while to understand who has been at these companies, where have they been, were they involved in the deals, were they not involved in the deals, were they just somebody that randomly got added by somebody on an account, or did they actually had calls with us. And that is what Jemmy is reading from all of our amazing CRM activities, meetings, emails, opportunities, things like that. So that's coming together in this email. And then at the end, we have a gift for the new hire. So thinking about how that gift is coming. So humanizing that experience, as we've talked to many times. Who doesn't like gifts? This is one where we're showcasing that we know that they like to go out on the trails, and they got their dog Butch because we have that in a past note from a previous company. And so we're providing them our favorite hands-free running leash. So we're using Smart Send, which is Sendoso's AI tool, with the amazing Jemmy, and combining these emails, and it's like awesome. It's just so fun to read these because you can understand why we get responses that are actually like, wow, this is actually good. Or you did my research.
Smart Send, just because I don't feel like I did it justice, we'll look for everything we can find about Josh online that he's made public, that he's mentioned. In this case, he probably mentioned that he has a dog Butch, and he wrote a LinkedIn post somewhere with him hiking or something like that. And we will craft really specific prompts to make sure that we're using non-creepy, publicly available feel good information versus stuff that might be interpreted as stalking or weird or creepy. We don't want any of that. So very prescriptive do and don't do prompts are informing this.
Yes. So that is like one example. I want to walk into another example, which I think is really cool. And so this is a example of Jemmy picking up a prospect based off a different signal, and Acme is a competitor to one of our amazing customers that have really strong usage. And so we have a case study with them. So here's an example of an email that's coming out talking about, the classic challenges of what your value prop is to this, persona. And then the second part there is using a competitor's case study in the email to us. So we have, Jemmy is smart enough to understand who competitors are in this world, and pulling what's good about the competitor, what's good in that case study, and why they are doing it into that, about creating high quality leads, doing strong brand recognition. And then, so that's combining that incredible motion with the purple part, which is, by the way, John over in marketing evaluated Sendoso earlier this year. It might be worth asking him what his thoughts were. How was he feeling about it? And so we get reading closed lost opportunities. So coming back from a win back campaign and that type of motion, which you aren't running, every quarter. We run a win back campaign or every random trigger. This is combining amazing win back insights with additional customer competitor data and incorporating a smart send at the bottom here. So it's pretty awesome to see these emails come to life, and how Jemmy prioritizes and thinks about these signals, because it's mind blowing, in my opinion. I think that we're going to talk a little bit more about Smart Send, Casey. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that.
Whoops.
Oh, don't see.
I kind of jumped the gun here a little bit, but I wanted to just say a few things. And Katie is in the chat here. She is actually our resident human expert on gifting and gifting outreach. So Smart Send is as we just mentioned, working very closely with Gem-E, which I just think is so cute, in all of these emails. And it takes us a step beyond like, hey, do you want a cup of coffee, which is also nice, And I had someone offer me cocoa this week because I don't drink coffee, which got my attention and was very cute. But if you can go a step beyond and it's actually personalized, and that Austin really loves Panera and camps out there, and what he likes to eat, for example, that's going to get his attention in a different way. One of the things we wanted to mention here and why we put this slide is we really think it's important to not be transactional when you're offering a gift. And we try to lean away from like, hey, we want to trade you this for that. Or if you take you a meeting, we'll give you that. We want it to feel personable, and we want it to feel like we care about you, because we do. And this is a human should feel like an interaction where we're just providing, resonance and value. Um, so we do a lot of like PS. Katie actually probably has stats on how well that works for us. But for us, adding this smart send element has taken our outbound success levels up through the roof, and it's succeeding in a way that we don't see with just general outbound or even less personalized outbound gifting. Anything else you want to add here?
No, I mean, I think at the end of the day, like I said in the chat, we're humans talking to humans, selling to humans. Like we don't make anything transactional. Like nobody wants transactions gifting. It's the worst thing in the world. Like quid pro quo. We don't live in that world.
Exactly. I mentioned this before. This works really well. We were blown away by the reply rates, by the positivity of the replies. We've even had some people share these publicly and say they're great. We are generating a whole bunch of really high quality opportunities. We paid ourselves back in a month, and then started raking in the cash. This is for us what I heard someone call a money printer. It works in the background for us. We can, um, we're having all these life events. We can get married. We can have a baby. We can go on vacation, and we can take breaks. This is the lifestyle that we'd like for our team, and this runs in the background and helps us out. So it's really exciting for us to have found a tool that we can actually trust, that has helped us really scale. In the last year, we stood up outbound from scratch, and Katie built a team from scratch, and Austin built our foundation to help AI augment it from scratch. And it is now generating millions of dollars for us, and in pipeline. And that's pretty darn crazy with such a small team.
I want to also just like say, going back to the response kind of motion, but like on this ROI stuff, like we have crazy reply rate. It's fun because we now I get every morning I get to wake up and look at some replies that we've gotten over the past little bit, and the replies are actually fun. They're the responses that we saw a few slides back. Like this is a night and day difference than years ago, not that long ago, and I'm assuming many of you may be in this situation where your BDR team or your SDR team is just like sending a bulk email out to a bunch of people, and you're getting unsubscribed, stop, do not respond, take me off your list, why are you telling me anything? Like those types of responses, I can promise you the responses I read in the morning now are much better, and they make me sleep much better at night.
I see question Jane just asked, how do we identify who goes into this versus one-on-one outreach, or avoid overlap with human outreach? Austin, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so we work with the UserGems teams kind of on this, but reading activity is the big one. So reading activity into your CRM, as we kind of alluded to, kind of a smart CRM motion, that's definitely the way that UserGem makes our CRM. So watching any activity tracking that's being done, and then identifying if it hasn't had activity in the past week, like, or whatever, and ownership. So those are typical things that we use, not just in GemE, but in all kind of our outbound motion, is like ownership. How does ownership provide? Is around a sales hold owner? Is it open game? Does it have a BDR assigned to it? Does it have an AE assigned to it? And then recent activity on the actual contact and account.
And for us, this is a AI human partnership. So once we get the response in, a human takes over, and then they have a one-to-one conversation and take it from there, which is awesome. Um, So it's been very smooth for us. I don't think we've actually had any issues with this at all in terms of like overlap or routing or anything. It's just seamless.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like we kind of talked about earlier, like you could take a year and a half just to figure that thing out. And part of when you're trying to build like an AI automated outbound motion, um, like each one of these things that we have tackled with the UserGems and the Gemi team has been like, wow, that would have taken me a couple weeks and maybe an agency needing to come in to look at like, do I need a special script or do I need to do something in other tools or in other motions? And it's actually been crazy seamless. So shout out to the UserGems, the Gemi team, like Jake and Justine who were on earlier. Like they're a pleasure to work with, and they just understand where we're at and where we want to go, and they're walking and running alongside us, which is amazing.
It's true. We move really fast. We are running fast over here, and they're keeping up, and in some cases pushing us harder. GemE is sending as the BDR AE, to answer your question, Matt. It's not sending as GemE, so it's coming from Marissa or from Evan or whoever on our team. 20% reply rate, is that the same reply rate op creation across enterprise? These are our high prio, high impact accounts. We're trying to really maximize and be thoughtful about what we're all working. And so this is obviously for an enterprise account, you're going to be multi-threading, and so you're going to be trying to fit as many people within that account as possible, and the deal could take a little bit longer, but we see that this accelerates that process for us, and these are big companies that we're emailing.
Cara, I saw your question. Who is providing the inputs? Is it marketing or sales? So I would say, like at this point at Sendoso, we work kind of with sales and marketing. We work with sales on like a messaging. How do we think about this? How are we hearing from the market? Like actual sales calls and conversations, and we use that to infuse kind of the marketing. Like this is our ICP. This is how we talk about this to this person. This is how we talk about this to this person. Then we give that over to the UserGems team, and we walk with them through inputs, variables, how we feel about emails, how we feel about the, talking about this or not talking about this. And then they produce kind of the emails and the sequences. So that's kind of the motion. And it's reading our Salesforce for a lot of that as well.
I will also say, because I think this is really important, in the last year and a half, we've done a lot of work to try and bring marketing, sales, and CX closer together and create shared trust and alignment. And this has really, really helped us. It's helped us with confidence in our data across the go-to-market team. It's helped us feel like we're all working together and, doing sort of this unified surround sound and targeting around the same accounts. And we had, our sales team and our CX team are blown away by this tool and excited by it, and it makes them want to work with us and partner with us. Our head of expansion on the CX side actually saw this. We dropped her into our UserGems channel, and she started spouting off ideas, and we're now spinning this up. By we, I mean Austin and the UserGems team are spinning this up with Katie for the expansion side. So we were filtering our customers out. Now we are going to be using Gemi to target our customers in the same thoughtful way, which is really exciting.
Yeah, it was like we kind of shared earlier, we have this love Slack, and we slowly added more and more team members across the org to it. And some of our other team members, like the amazing account management leader, was reading some of the responses, and I was like, I want that. I want that. Like, how do I get that happening? And so now we're working with the incredible Gemi team to get that rolling.
That never happens. No. Jeff, Austin can probably answer this better, but you could actually hook in a LinkedIn touch into your workflow. That's something that we do sometimes.
Yep.
Any other questions? Are we going to get kicked off? Bring the hook, pull us off.
I know. They're going to kick us off here shortly.